This week on Hermitcraft.
Their magic is pummeling me directly in the butt crack.
Welcome to the Hermitcraft Recap, the unofficial guide to untangling this mess. I'm your host Pixelriffs, our writer is ZloyXP, and yes, we got kicked off of Python's channel. Thanks for all the love on the April Fool's video, folks. We know you're never gonna give us up.
Oh, I am so fermenting your eyes later.
And with that out of the way, let's take a look at all the events and mishaps that occurred on the Hermitcraft server this week. Starting with Stress Monster, who makes a glorious return to the server this week after holidaying in her Monster Pack series and hasn't been to her swamp for so long that parts of it are jump scaring her.
Just looking at things that need touching up or stuff that I want to kind of add, that made me jump. My God!
To help the place feel a little more familiar, she decides to fill in some of the underdeveloped areas of the local waterscape with some more quirky, rickety shacks on custom-built islands. And the locals like it so much, they're already attempting to move in.
Yeah, I think that looked cool. Having a little balcony there, and then that's a bit higher. There is a slime on my roof. There is a slime on my roof! And now he's dead.
Stress, to be fair, they already kinda lived here. Another return is, of course, Zedaf landing from his trip on the other side of the pond right into a nearby cave, which he promptly transforms into a mushroom farm. It's a dampy appendix from his crystal caves, redstone rigged to always have a giant mushroom waiting for him no matter how much you chop. Just as he always has a mushroom pun waiting in the comments section of his videos because he specifically asked people to avoid posting them. Reverse psychology, extremely effective against children under the age of 5, and the YouTube comments section.
Wordplay, such as calling me a fun guy, saying that this episode is sporing, or declaring that there isn't much room in here. Thank you for your cooperation.
Joe Hills also trifles with truffles this week, planning to plant them in the courtyard of Castle Ravenloft alongside all the bone-mealed grass and flowers he's using to conceal his torch spam. The inside of the castle gets some fertilizer as well, except this time it's diorite to represent bat poop in the catacombs. At least now the walls of the keep aren't made of bat poop, since he swaps those out for some more sanitary bone blocks. Those still came from someone's insides, Joe, unless they're like antlers or something.
It's good when the players get to the catacombs, but every single person who flies over the castle can see this terrible diorite, and I haven't been happy with it for a long time.
Following that idea of using remnants as decorations, Zombie Cleo hooks a living, beating, and glowing heart to the underside of her temple sanctum just beyond the mirror floor.
Oh, that's perfect. But that noise is gonna get on my wick.
Look, lady, it's either through the looking glass or the telltale heart. You can't do both. Although really I'm fine as long as she doesn't go all to killer Pixelriffs.
Yeah, that works. Somehow. Okay, so if I wanted to make it start, if I wanted to make it stop, that's fine. And it only caused all the lag ever. All the lag ever. We're all happy with all the lag ever, right?
Believe it or not, Tango Tech's base actually becomes less sinister this week as he removes the Pastor of Muppets prank Xisuma pulled on him some time ago, finding a brand new and amazing way to harvest wheat while he's at it.
Why do you blow things up? Why is my voice so exceptionally high right now? I am disappointed in you, purple flickering cubes of disappointment. Why? No kabooms, but no bangs on booms on the block. Why the blocks are breaking?
The lack of metal album covers might be evened out by the fact that the intentional parts of the base are near finished, the outer towers covering the farms being completed in a single 10-hour play session. Tango even shows off the area to Cubfan, who just happened to fly by with a buttload of helpful netherrack on him. Well, turns out it's not even the only buttload Cub was carrying around, as specifically that amount of magic is spilled onto Rendog's base in a vengeful fit of the Convex. Apparently, even being oblivious to them is a crime worth punishing, so in an unholy act of alchemy, Cub and Scar perform, well, this.
I think they're trying to change me. They're trying to change me from a dog into a cat. They're making me question my very own nature of existence. Oh, that feels real good on the claws. Maybe do a bit of meowing. Meow, meow. I'm not entirely sure what's going on here right now. I feel like I might be losing my marbles.
At least he chooses to head back to Fred the Kingdom minigame and decorate the elven walls inside the central arena. He'll also find a couple of freshly built shops there, courtesy of Mumbo, but executive produced by Iskall, once they finished haggling over the prices, that is.
You would be a terrible shopkeeper. I walk into Mumbo's shop in real life and I'm like, hey, I really want that t-shirt. What's the price? Listen. I think maybe it's 6. And I'm like, I'm going to buy it for 2. And you're going to be like, all right then. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'll put it
I'm
in.
not 100% certain. To be honest, now that I've built it, I probably should have reminded myself how they work. It's been so long since I actually designed this thing from the time that I built it that I can't even remember how the price is calculated.
Now all Iskall needs to do is figure out the lighting, and the paths, and a few other minor details, but the Mobilisa is nearly ready, we promise. It's a good thing too, because Rendog isn't the only one with vexing problems. Iskall's base also got hit by the latest prank, although Bumbo Vextoni's escape turns out to be just a cover-up.
Dear Vextonis out there, Convex fans and blue fanatics, you have brought this upon yourself. For the longest time we stood in the background and did not act on your actions. We took it with joy and laughters. But here we are. And this is no longer a warning from the revolution. This is war.
The Swedes Candyland also gets 3 more cupcakes, and the main ingredient is flour, specifically the 2 tall varieties of flour, auto-bone mealed by some overcomplicated redstone farms. That's 3 people surrendering their time and resources to Fred this week because False Symmetry does stop by and out of the goodness of her heart helps out Ren's Elven City with a couple of her own buildings, following the style already established by Ren and Cub. The aforementioned goodness does not stop there, and we see her building a nether tunnel to Ijevin's base and doing a great job of it. That's like the 3rd community nether tunnel she's made this month. One wonders just how tired she is of nothing getting finished on this server.
I just sort of just went, I winged it basically, and it looks good. I wanted it to be a little bit squared off and not completely round and completely like dome shaped, because it feels like everything's sort of got like a squared off feeling. Everything's not round. I mean, that's Minecraft in general.
Well, she blows off some steam by playing the parkour challenge Mumbo left her, insert Rocky theme here, and even builds a minigame herself, a minecart shooting range, preparing humanity for the war against the trains, one ren at a time. The Nether Hub giant face trend solidifies once more when Xisuma puts his own touch on it.
Whoa! Oh my goodness! Xisuma! Yeah! That looks so good. He kept it super simple, and that works out really well.
His map canvas is like no other before, since, as a responsible server mate, he puts it into the outer end dimension instead of wasting hundreds of blocks in the overworld. But it might be that he's only a good boy, since Karma has promptly kicked him beforehand, when him compromising Jarvis ends with the most noobish death ever, squared.
And then he gets a piece of paper with like an instruction, or a yes or a no on it, and what I want to do is change what those instructions... Oh no! I'm surrounded! I'm gonna die! That's it, I'm dead! See you later, maybe not. No, I died.
That's when he returns to his base, only to find the Bumbo Endoni pop figurine occupying it. When it rains, it pours. Before X can tear it down, Mumbo himself, still unable to grow any facial hair, stops by to critique the latest addition to the Bumbo clan. Whatever their opinions of the build, they both agree Iskall needs some sort of intervention.
But I just think Iskall's got a bit of a problem, you know. Like, I'm losing track. So are you of how many of these things there are.
I think
it's gonna end up being like Pokemon, man.
Yeah, exactly. I think this is gonna be the new Hermitron Go, is trying to catch all of these guys. I think we might have to hold like an intervention for him, like sit him down and be like, look, okay, you're getting out of control here.
Mumbo's tribute to his own base inside the Nether is completed this week, although he makes the unfortunate error of trying to move in some pet guardians before he adds in the walls, which goes about as well as you'd expect.
What? When did that happen? I cannot understand.
And to spare himself from building a tiny giant elephant on it, he removes Dumbo from on top of his guardian farm. The rest of the week is dedicated to fixing up old farms, trying to perfect a tree-based version of Ilmango's cobblestone TNT farm, and wrapping up the shop design at the Mobilisa, which he notes took 101 episodes to complete from start to finish. That's still less than it took for the community area to remember that, hey, Overground exists. But this week, Good Times with Scar returns to the biggest community project this server has ever seen, despite all the painful flashbacks of digging stone. Following the old and abandoned idea, Scar circles in the area once called the Hermit City with giant walls, and then promptly breaks them up to create the feel of a post-catastrophe civilization. A bit of overkill just to keep some llamas in, but I dig it. In a surprising bit of redstone know-how, aka watching Xisuma's tutorial on it, Scar rigs up a system of waterless potion arrow fountains, opting for something colourful instead of the wet blue stuff. Or maybe it's just a very fancy missile defense system. You never know with the retro future.
Oh, that thing is a work of beauty. If that is not the most beautiful thing in the world, I don't even know what is. Oh, I can't wait for all these to be launching up, just like a real fountain.
TFC opts for something less colourful, deciding that yellow concrete was perhaps not the best shade to choose for one of his modern houses. Having torn it down and replaced it with horseradish instead, he invites his audience to critique one of the other houses in the row which he isn't satisfied with, but doesn't quite know how to renovate.
But I think this is a huge improvement. I mean, a mustard yellow house. What was I thinking?
Wells Knight, meanwhile, prefers his fountains nice and splashy, maybe with a quartz pillar around it for flavour. The newly raised water feature is a centre point for a fancy half-moon-shaped stairwell into the keep that will not leave any invaders feeling unwelcome.
Yeah, that looks so much better and so much more interesting than what we had before.
In the perimeters, Wells also goes around implementing medieval everyday objects at every empty space, so the place looks more alive while literally having just one guy living in it. Unlike Impulse's giant bird bath, which is absolutely littered with people. Some of them have even been put to work inside of crop farms, which this week get decorated in the neoclassical style Impulse has adopted this season. Quartz pillars, cyan concrete, high domes, and lots of spots for villagers to drown accidentally. The insurance rates must be through the roof.
Yes, I like it. I think that looks great. Like I said, that's kind of the first time I've ever really tried doing this as, added decoration. But yeah, I think it definitely helped.
But let's get back to that community area, shall we? Not just a community area either. A community area with llamas. Through the giant llama's mouth, and yes, this is what an ideal llama's head is, you might not like it, but that's what peak performance looks like, Cubfan has opened up an entire corridor of showcase stalls, presenting once and for all how amazing your everyday life would be if you just let unfinished giraffes into it.
And that is it. The highway to hell, but with llamas. The moon, but with llamas. Football, but with llamas.
And that's just about it for this week's recap. Our writer is LoyXP, and my name is Pixel Riffs. Don't forget to leave a like while you're still here and subscribe so you won't miss future recaps. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week.